There are a variety of career opportunities that students can pick within the College of Health and Behavioral Studies. Many of those options are health-oriented careers.
I've gotten to do incredible patient interaction. It's really given me a better outlook on the activities and procedures that I'll be doing as a nurse. And without this program, without its rigor, I don't feel like I could be an adequate nurse.
There are so many different aspects of social work, whether it's working with policy on the macro scale, or with groups, or with individuals. So just knowing that there's so much variety to this field and that I can do anything with it really attracted me to it.
The kinesiology program fosters learning much different than just classroom and taking notes. We're teaching them how they themselves can be better people, how they can eat better.
I don't know if I've ever made an appointment with a professor. If I see them in the hall and ask if they have time to talk, they'll always make time.
We have this attitude here that anybody is welcome and that we will embrace you and that we will enjoy teaching you and that you will enjoy learning from us.
Hi everybody, I'm Linda Plitt-Donaldson, one of the Associate Deans for the College of Health and Behavioral Studies. I'm also the Director of our college's Institute for Health for Innovation in Health and Human Services. Today I am joined by 4 of my colleagues, and I'm going to invite each of them to introduce him or herself. And we will start first with our Head of Psychology, Dr. Kevin Apple.
Hello, good evening. Just want to congratulate all of you. It's wonderful that you've been accepted to James Madison University, and I look forward to seeing you this fall.
And Dr. Andy Peachy, Head of Health Sciences.
Hello, and congratulations on your acceptance to JMU. I'm Andy Peachy, the Head of Health Sciences. I've been at JMU for about 9 years and can't imagine being anywhere else. And I hope the same will be true for you. I'm happy to answer your questions today and look forward to seeing you in the fall.
And Kelly Schumann, who is the Academic Advisor for our School of Nursing.
Good evening. I'm Kelly Schumann. I'm the Academic Advisor for the School of Nursing here at JMU. I'm really excited for you and the opportunity that you have to come to JMU in the College of Health and Behavioral Studies. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about our amazing BSN program.
And last but not least, the Head of Health Professions, Dr. Kirk Armstrong.
Good evening and welcome to JMU, and congratulations. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Department of Health Professions, we're excited to welcome you to our academic programs. We have an eclectic group of programs, both at the undergrad and grad levels, so we look forward to meeting you this fall and answering your questions tonight.
Now, these panelists represent most of our undergraduate majors, but not all of them. We also have a major in kinesiology, where students can concentrate on exercise science or physical and health education teacher education, which we affectionately refer to as FEAT. We also have communication sciences and disorders, which is a pre-professional major for students to go into graduate programs in speech and language pathology or audiology. And then we also have an undergraduate major in social work, and that prepares students for careers in social services or graduate social work education. I want to remind you that embedded in this link, in this Facebook page or YouTube, are links to the choices presentations for each of the majors and also the frequently asked questions for those majors. There's also a link to the pre-professional health page, so you can go into more detail in any of those places. From the list of our undergraduate programs, you can see that our college prepares students for careers in the health and human service professions, and those are the fastest growing sectors of our economy. Also, our COVID-19 context shows that the professions that we prepare students for make a meaningful difference in people's lives. At JMU, students will be educated by top faculty who teach in our nationally ranked programs. The Bachelor's Degree Center described JMU as, quote, one of Virginia's most trusted and highly ranked institutions, a real point of pride in a state known for its exceptional higher education, end quote. In addition to getting a high quality education, you will also be joining a community that prides itself on personal relationships and caring for one another. our president, President John Alger, talks about the centrality of close relationships between faculty and students that help cultivate both the head and the heart. So with that brief overview of CHBS, I would like to pose a few questions to our panelists before opening it up to questions from the audience. I'd like to first start with, please tell me why everybody viewing today should choose JMU. And we'll start with Kelly Schumann from nursing.
Thanks, Linda. That's actually one of my favorite questions to answer. I meet with a lot of students who are looking at JMU and our nursing program specifically, and I also meet with a lot of students once they're here, and I often ask them that same question, and the response that they give me, and the one that's true for me, is that JMU is a large university with tons of opportunity and tons of options, but at the same time, it's a small town community where our students feel engaged in a small town, small, close-knit community. And that's the benefit of both worlds, in my opinion.
That's great. Andy Peachy, what would you say?
I'm really impressed by our focus on undergraduate education. And also we have great students and great faculty that work together to create change in a variety of healthcare fields. I can't imagine a better place.
That's wonderful. Kevin, what's your answer to why choose JMU?
At JMU, we do more than just study in textbooks. We go out in the community, we go out in the field and learn that way too. Our students partner with our faculty on research projects, on service projects. So at least the psych major, you're not just studying psychology, but you're actually doing psychology.
And Kirk Armstrong, how about in health professions? Why choose JMU?
Our department really epitomizes the university's mission to become the national model for an engaged university. Throughout all of our academic programs, our students are actively involved in the classroom, but they're also involved in a number of community service activities and also involved civically. So we do create that very well-rounded student and well-rounded healthcare professional who will be ready to care for patients in the next generation.
That's great. The next question is one probably many of our viewers are wondering. It's what kind of careers do graduates of your different majors get after they leave JMU? Andy Peachy, can you speak to that first? What kind of careers?
Sure. Probably a majority of our students plan on pursuing a graduate degree, either in occupational therapy, physical therapy, physician assistant studies, medicine, dentistry, or a master's in public health. And then probably about a third of our students end up working in non-clinical positions in a healthcare setting or a nonprofit organization or government agency. And then we have a good number of students who go on to be research assistants because of our emphasis on undergraduate research.
Mm-hmm. Kirk, how about in the health professions, your two majors?
So we have two undergraduate majors, one in dietetics and one in health services administration. Our dietetics program prepares students to be entry-level dietitians. So this is preparing them to be eligible for the registered dietitian nutritionist credential. Students will either complete a dietetics internship or go on to a graduate program that integrates both didactic and the clinical experiences so that they're eligible to sit for the certification exam. Our health services administration program prepares students to be entry-level healthcare administrators. So they will learn the knowledge and skills to be able to enter the profession in any number of practice settings, whether that's a long-term care facility, a hospital, a physician practice setting, or they could go into something such as medical, pharmaceutical device sales, or even into consulting.
Great. Kevin Apple, where do our psychology majors go?
Our psychology majors go into a wide variety of careers. So in psychology, we really do two things in our major. We prepare our students for a variety of careers, and we also prepare our students for further study if that's what they wish. But our students tend to go into a variety of different areas based on their interests. Our major provides them with lots of great skills. Some of our students go into business. Some of our students go into human services. Some go into more of criminal justice studies field. And some go into research. And to help our students find the right career for them, we have an optional 1 credit hour elective course about how to find a job with psychology.
That's great. Kelly, maybe you could speak to what the nurses are doing. Everybody thinks they know what nurses do, but maybe you could broaden their perspective.
Sure, I think that's really important, Linda, is for people to realize that we may have an assumption of what nurses do, and right now we see a lot of what nurses are doing on the front lines of this pandemic, and we see that as especially in our hospital settings right now. But it's also important to remember that our nursing majors go into lots of different avenues of healthcare. There's community health, there's long-term care facilities, there are day treatment facilities, there's mental health nursing, there's so many hospice care nursing, so many things that nurses do when they leave us just with that BSN degree. And then so many more of them go on to graduate school to become nurse practitioners or psychiatric nurse practitioners or doctorates of nursing practice so that they could be nurse educators and things of that sort. So it really is the sky's the limit when it comes to nursing in our country right now.
Yeah, there's a whole world of opportunity for our graduates at CHBS. I'm going to turn for a minute to some of our questions from the audience. And I'm going to start with the first question I'm going to throw out to Andy Peachy. Andy, Ronnie is asking, is it possible to change majors when in the process of choosing our classes?
Sure. So over the summer, you'll work with a first-year advisor, and that person can help you determine what your career goals are and which path might be best for you, and help you navigate that change of major process. Once you're at JMU, you'll continue to work with that major advisor or first-year advisor throughout that first semester. So if you decide that you need to make adjustments, you can do that then. At least for health sciences, if you change your major up until the end of your sophomore year, you could be on track to graduate in 4 years. Some students will choose to change later than that. It may mean that they have to take a summer course or something like that. So sort of the earlier you can get your major clarified, the better. But certainly it's within that first year and a half, there's flexibility. Just be in contact with your advisor so that you don't miss any important dates or other information.
Now we have a couple of questions related to psychology and social work. So Dr. Apple, I'm going to throw this out to you. So first of all, it's Caitlin. Caitlin is asking, I'm trying to decide between majoring in psychology and social work. I hope to eventually become some sort of mental health therapist. Can you talk about the differences and benefits of each? And then Olivia asks, could I double major in psychology and social work? Could you field both of those, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Psychology and social work are both wonderful majors, and you can do similar things with both majors. So how do you choose between these two programs? Psychology has a little bit more of an emphasis on research and asking the questions of why. Why do people and animals behave the way they do, think the way they do, and feel the way they do? And so in Psych, we focus a little bit more on research, and so they focus a little bit more on getting out in the community and getting those experiences. The good news is, if you're torn between psychology and social work, you don't have to decide right now. In fact, psychology and social work majors take basically the same classes that first year and very similar recommendations. So if you're torn between them both, you can talk to your freshman advisor, as Andy, Dr. Peachy said, and set yourself up so you can make that decision a little bit later on. As far as can you major in both psychology and social work, that's a little bit harder, and that's because we offer two different degrees. Our social work students earn BSW, Bachelor's of Social Work. Our psych majors earn a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science. And there's a way to earn those two degrees, but it's not something that I recommend. So I'd encourage you to choose between the two. And if you're not sure, I'd encourage you to use your first year to explore.
That's great. Kelly, I have a question for you. As an upcoming freshman, this is from Jessica, as an upcoming freshman with a nursing major, what are the main classes I should be taking freshman and sophomore year to prepare me for the nursing program junior and senior year?
So we have a series of prerequisite courses for nursing majors that you're required to take. And as Dr. Peachy mentioned earlier, the great benefit is that you will be assigned to a first-year advisor. And your first-year advisor is someone who works very closely with me to make sure that they're instructing all of their students on their caseload to take the right courses in those first couple of semesters especially. And then you'll transition into my caseload towards the end of your first year at JMU, and we'll start working on that process of applying to the BSN program. So in the meanwhile, there are 7 prerequisites that you will need to take in those first 2 years, along with all your general education courses and your elective courses, because the way that our BSN program is structured, it does require you to complete all of your other programming before you enter the BSN program in order to be able to graduate in those 4 years. Because once you enter the BSN program, your schedule is strictly BSN coursework and clinicals and labs. So you don't have space to take those general education courses. So it's really important that you work closely with your advisor to structure your schedule in those first 4 semesters to get everything done.
Mm-hmm. Just to follow up, Jody is asking the question, Kelly, could you talk a little bit about during the week did the nursing clinicals take place, and how far of a drive is it to the furthest site?
Those are great questions. Obviously, we're always thinking as creatively as we can to get as many students through those clinical experiences as possible, which means that we work with a wide variety of clinical partners. We are not attached to a teaching hospital, but that's actually a benefit in our eyes because our students have the opportunity to diversify pretty greatly their experiences in clinical settings. So our students will participate in clinicals in our local hospitals that are 5 minutes from campus and in our nursing homes and rehabilitation centers, but they'll also in some semesters travel as far as an hour. That's the limit that the Virginia Board of Nursing allows for nursing education for students to travel for clinical. So we do have some clinicals where our students travel up to an hour. And those clinicals are generally on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays during the BSN clinical semesters. Tuesdays and Thursdays are lecture days. And that's the other thing that gets overlooked a lot. I think students feel like they've worked so hard in those didactic classes in those first 2 years that once they enter the nursing school, all they have to do is go to clinicals, but that's not the way it works either. There's a ton of information that has to be taught and has to be learned for you to be a successful nurse. So you're going to spend Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 4 in lecture, both of those days, every week, all 4 semesters of the BSN program. Then you'll have clinical each semester at least 1 day a week, and sometimes 2, and you'll have lab at least 1 day a week. So you really will be in classes and clinicals and labs 4 to 5 days of the week every semester of the BSN program.
That's great. I'm going to ask one more nursing question, then we're going to switch over to a couple of other questions. Abby says she wants to get into labor and delivery, and is there a minor that would be beneficial for her?
It's a great question. Because we train all of our nurses to be generalist nurses, you're going to experience women's health and labor and delivery as part of your BSN programming. So you're going to get that direct experience. We certainly have some electives in our program and outside of our program that are nursing managed electives that you could take to learn more in depth about that field and that practice area. But we don't have a minor specifically for labor and delivery. One that I would suggest that is also in our college is the family studies minor. Is a minor that a lot of our students choose because they get an opportunity to really learn a lot about family dynamics, how they affect health and healthcare. So that's a great option for students who are interested in that type of nursing because you're going to be dealing with a lot of different family scenarios in that environment.
Andy Peachy, this question is for you. I may want to major in health sciences, but I'm not sure about what specific field. If I don't minor in a pre-professional program right away, would I be far behind?
Certainly not. There is no need to add a pre-professional health minor if that is not the career path you want to end up on. Many students might end up going into public health either directly after graduation or pursuing a master's in public health. And that would not require any minor. And then if you chose to add a minor later, again, you wouldn't be behind if you were doing it in those first few semesters. So lots of flexibility as you interact with faculty who serve as mentors or the advisors who have worked with many students before. As long as you keep that line of communication open, they can help you be successful.
And while you have the mic, Andy, Michelle wants to know what the best type of laptop would be for a health science major, Mac, Dell, or?
My informal survey of what faces me when I'm in the classroom is that Students have the strong preference for MacBooks. Faculty tend to have the preference for Dells. As long as it can run something like SPSS, which is a statistical package that JMU offers to students, and both of those in general do, you should be fine.
Great. We have a couple of questions about study abroad. So let me ask specifically, I don't know, Kirk, if you can answer this. Katerina is going to be a kinesiology major when she comes. Are there study abroad opportunities built into that particular major? And I know that you don't oversee kinesiology, but you might, you have some sister professions and health professions.
I know that through our athletic training program, which partners with kinesiology, we do have a study abroad opportunity there. They go to Ireland and learn about sports medicine in Ireland. Our dietetics program offers a study abroad in Costa Rica, emphasizing global nutrition, which is, again, very highly collaborative with the kinesiology program and exercise science. So I think that both of those would relate very well. But in terms of specifically within the department, I do believe that there exists at least one study abroad opportunity, but I can't speak to it because, again, that's really not our department.
So staying on the topic of study abroad, Kelly, Ryan wants to know, are you able to study abroad while you're in the nursing program?
So you heard me say that once you enter the BSN program, your fall and spring semesters are pretty much prescribed and that they're intense and you can't fit other things in. And so it is important as a nursing major, if you have a particular interest in studying abroad, that you make sure that you're communicating that with your advisor very early. We offer, through our nursing school actually, several study abroads for students before you're admitted to the BSN program. And you can do those before you get in or after you get into the BSN program, but they are generally in the summer so that we can allow for the fall and spring semesters to stay dedicated to your didactic and clinical courses. So right now, we have a summer study abroad in Costa Rica. We have a summer study abroad in Spain. We have one that rotates in and out to Malta. And then we have an extended term study abroad in the summer for our admitted BSN students that actually carries clinical credit for your community health clinical in Tanzania, where our students get to go and have an opportunity to work in clinics there.
Wow. And Dr. Peachy reminded me that in kinesiology, students can go to Australia. I wanted to ask Dr. Apple also to speak to study abroad. So we'll start with that question first.
Sure. So at JMU, there's multiple ways of doing study abroad. You can go for a semester, you can do a short summer trip. In psychology, we have several short summer trips. We rotate them depending on the year, but we've had trips to Ghana, which social work also has a Ghana program. We have trips to, I always forget some of them, Italy, Austria, the Netherlands, Israel, and all with different themes. And with the short summer trips, JMU is really a leader with short-term summer trips. They're about 3 weeks long. You meet the students and the faculty you'll be traveling with, and in class you get credit, but you also have an opportunity to travel around as a group too.
That's great. And while you have the mic, Dr. Apple, there's a question about what year are the opportunities for internships in psychology and what kinds of internships are available? This is from Nancy.
Nancy, that's a great question. So we have an introductory fieldwork program that you can apply for as early as your first year or your second year for sure. And the introductory fieldwork is 2 credits. A typical college class is 3 credits, so it's a little bit less than a full class. Partner agencies all over the area within about a 30-mile radius if you have a car, if you want to do more, but in local schools in the downtown area. And so that's freshman, sophomore year for introductory field work. We also have for our seniors, we have a field placement program. And for our field placement program, you spend more time in the placement site. For the field placements program, you spend a whole day each week at the site. And you spend one day there each week, and then you come together as a class once a week as well and tie it into the psych major, and it counts as your capstone experience.
That's great.
And as far as sites, I think I mentioned retirement homes, mental hospitals, schools, lots of different places, legal clinics.
Yeah, there was a question about the field placement for social workers. I think social workers are placed in a number of similar kinds of places, community-based settings, our community place, other programs that are serving people who are homeless, in nursing homes, schools, agencies serving children, foster care, some of the city agencies as well. So social workers are in a lot of different places throughout our community. Dr. Peachy, Kaya is asking, would a major in health sciences as well as the pre-PA track be too much with the minor included? And what are some common minors with those?
So certainly the health sciences major with a minor in pre-PA would be typical, not uncommon. PA has a lot of requirements for when you apply to the graduate programs, and so you will be busy, but it's manageable, especially if you spread it out across the 4 years. Other minors students might consider medical Spanish, substance abuse education, chronic disease. Kelly mentioned family studies earlier. So I can't remember, there are over 60, 70 different minors on campus. A way to augment your degree, maybe with something fits or just an interest that you have. So you might choose to minor in one of the music options to be a well-rounded individual and keep up your passions. So it can be beneficial in a variety of ways.
Miranda is asking about undergraduate research opportunities, and she's asking specifically about communication sciences and disorders. And I'll start, and then I would like others to jump in to talk about how you offer undergraduate experiences. So at RCSD is a pre-professional major that's preparing people for graduate work. And there is a ton of research happening in CSD. Very active faculty, very active doctoral students. And there are opportunities to build relationships with faculty in that program to support their research and their research agendas. So who would like to, maybe Kirk, do you want to talk about graduate research opportunities?
Sure. As you said, there are a plethora of opportunities both at the undergraduate level, whether it's through completion of an honors thesis, which a lot of students in all of our majors do, or like you said, with getting involved with master's or doctoral level research. We have some phenomenal facilities up in our health and behavioral studies building where our CSD faculty and students have independent laboratories. So again, it's going to be the opportunity for students to partner with a faculty member, partner with a doctoral or a master's level student, and get involved in an area of research that's of really interest to you. And whether that be for professional experience, expertise, or just areas that you're interested in for further graduate studies.
Dr. Peachy, do you want to speak about the undergraduate research opportunities in health sciences?
Sure. So as part of our senior level research methods class, every student will be part of a team of 4 or 5 students working with a faculty member to prepare a research project where they identify a research question, figure out how to measure it, go through the institutional review board process to make sure that they're treating their participants ethically. They collect the data, they analyze it, and report out at a symposium at the end of the year. And then students may choose to go on and publish that research either at a state or regional conference. And some have gone on to national conferences and even be first authors on a publication in a professional journal. So amazing opportunities. If you want to start research earlier than that, get to know your faculty members, go to office hours, ask questions, see how you can be involved. Lots of opportunities, seek them out.
That's great. Kirk, could you speak to the success rate of getting JMU students into PT schools? This is from Evan.
Evan, that's a great question. We have had a pretty high success rate, and I want to say it's probably over 90%. I know that that's probably a question better that could be suited and answered through our pre-professional health advising. So that would be Dr. Babcock. So I do know that for all of our programs, we do have a pretty high success rate, and that pre-professional health minor has been really one of the keys to success, because that pre-professional health minor, it does have a pre-PT minor, and it is advised actually by an active physical therapist. So she does practice clinically about 1 day a week in addition to working full-time with students. So she will be a great asset to you in assisting you through that process.
Dr. Apple, one of our viewers noticed that we have both a BA and a BS in psychology, and they wanted to know what the difference is and how would you recommend one over the other?
Another great question. There really isn't much of a difference between the BA and the BS. And when students are trying to decide, should they go for a BA in psychology or a BS in psychology, I really encourage them to think about what skills they want to graduate with. So the advantage in my mind of the BA is that you take a little extra philosophy, one extra philosophy course, and you take foreign language through the intermediate level. If you have a lot of foreign language in high school, you could skip some of the courses. But that to me is the advantage of the BA, is that if you're able to speak another language in our world today, that's a huge advantage for the job market. That's a huge advantage for travel. Great for training your mind and how your mind thinks. That's some of the advantages of the BA degree. The BS degree does not have the extra philosophy, does not have the extra language. Instead, the BS degree has extra math and science. And math literacy, scientific literacy are also amazing skills that will help you on the job market, will help you with graduate school, and can help you with life. So it's really what you want to focus on. The BA and BS are a very small part of your psychology education here. It's about 10 credits, give or take. So it's out of 120. So it's a real small piece. It's really what skills you want to work on.
Okay. Dr. Peachy, Ronnie is wondering, in the case of not getting accepted into the nursing program, would it be too much to take health science classes as a backup solution?
So it's not uncommon for students to major in both nursing and health sciences, especially in those first 2 years, as they figure out what career path is best for them. And then typically in that junior year, they'll decide whether they're continuing to pursue nursing or pursuing health sciences. And probably at that point, you would choose one over the other. So you can work with that first year advisor and see which courses count for both, because several do. And of course, all students have to complete general education requirements. So in those first 2 years, there will be a lot of overlap. But as Kelly mentioned, those last 2 years, if you were to stay in the nursing program, would be dedicated to the clinicals and other experiences. So it's definitely possible and good to consider different options.
Kelly, did you want to build on that at all?
I think Dr. Peachy really covered the majority of that. I would say that we work very closely together, the health sciences department and the nursing school, to make sure that students are finding the right path for them. And we do often find that because nursing school is competitive by nature. And that's not just a JMU thing, that's across the board. There's definitely a bottleneck in the world of education for nurses. And we are working on that as hard as we can, but we can't get everyone in. And so we do have some students who choose after they've applied to our nursing school and have not gotten in, but still are fairly strong students, to continue with a health sciences or other degree and complete that degree and apply to an accelerated nursing program after they graduate with their bachelor's degree from JMU. So then they end up with 2 bachelor's degrees. And health sciences is a common choice for that, but we also have students who choose other majors. Social work is also a very common choice for that.
Kevin, Glenn noticed that JMU has a residential learning community for psych students. What is that like, and are there any academic benefits for being part of that learning community?
Psychology Learning Community is a great program, and it's one of the ways that we can make a large university feel a lot smaller. And with the Psychology Learning Community, you live in the same residence hall as some other psych majors. Find that your roommate will likely not be a psych major. You can still pick a roommate from another major. Other psychology students in the building, not in your room, but in the building. And you take 3 courses together that first year. It gives you a little bit of a jump start. You get to know faculty a little bit better. And the students who do it absolutely love it. And if you're someone who's torn between psychology and another major, still experience. And sometimes at the end of the program, students pick another major. Sometimes they stay in psychology. It's not just for psych majors. It's for people who are interested in learning more about psychology.
And what's staying on the field of psychology? Kylie wants to know, what's the best course of action for a psychology student who also wants to study law?
We have a lot of our students want to go on to law school, and psych major is great for that. And oftentimes students have a pre-law program that they tag on to the psych major so that they're prepared for that. We also have some faculty who do research on forensic and legal type stuff. We have a faculty member who does work on coding transcripts and looking at transcripts. How do people assume innocence or guilt? We have psychology classes on persuasion, all that would help with a future lawyer.
I was thinking maybe a couple of you could talk about our pass rates. We have a lot to be proud of on that. So Kelly, could you start with that?
Sure, always a great subject for us. The nationally normed board exam that our students and every nursing student who graduates with a BSN degree will take is called the Nclex. You've probably heard of it if you're interested in nursing. The Nclex can be taken in any state. And our students in the past year, our overall pass rate on the first attempt of the Nclex is 97% right now. And we classically stay in the high 90% for that pass rate. Our students are very well prepared. We spend time during each semester of the program making sure that they're ready for that board exam so that when they complete the degree, they have an opportunity to be a registered nurse.
That's great. Kirk, do you want to speak to that as well?
So for our dietetics program, we have, we don't necessarily look at the pass rate, we look at the match rate, which are the rate at which students are matched into the dietetics internship. National average is around 60 to 65%, and last year we were sitting at 93%, so a really extremely high match rate, meaning that students are getting either their first or second choice into their dietetics internship. For our athletic training program, we're at about a 96% pass rate as a 5-year aggregate. That's compared to just over an 82% national average. Our PA program's at about 96% for a first-time pass rate. Again, that's a 5-year aggregate compared to about 84%. Our PA program's at about 92% first-time pass rate, and that's, again, about an 80 to 82%. I do know that our most current group of OTs have a 100% pass rate. There are still 4 students who haven't taken it yet, just weren't able to get it taken in that first round. But right now, our most recent graduates are sitting at 100%.
Yeah, so JMU really prepares our students for professional practice to be ready to hit the ground running once they graduate. I was hoping the panelists could speak a little bit about the specialized learning opportunities that we have. And what I'm thinking about is some of the labs, some of the engaged learning experiences. So perhaps we could start with Kelly and nursing and some of the labs that we offer there.
Sure. We're extremely proud of the labs that we have access to now in our new building. The new Health and Behavioral Studies building is tremendous. We have state-of-the-art brand new facilities in our simulation labs, our skills and assessment labs, and our standardized patient labs are like none other. We have access, our students have access to learning opportunities each semester in the simulation environment, which is a real life scenario played out with high fidelity mannequins. And these mannequins can do anything that you and I can do except for get up and walk out of the room. They have respiratory rates, they have pulses, they can take medications, have IVs, interact with the caregivers. So you get a real sense of what it's like to be in a hospital setting with a patient without the anxiety that comes with worrying about hurting someone or doing something wrong. It's a very safe learning environment. In addition to that, we have Skills Lab where our students learn their individual skills, their nursing skills, everything from giving a patient a bath to intubation and that sort of thing. And they get an opportunity to practice with those mannequins so that all their practice doesn't happen in the clinical setting. We also hire what we call standardized patients or standardized persons, which are actors who come in and are the patients that our students evaluate and assess and treat. So you have a wide variety of those types of opportunities, and that's just the ones that happen in our building outside of the clinical setting that are clinical hours that are happening in the School of Nursing. And right now, with this COVID-19 situation and our students unable to go into clinicals or into these lab environments, we have also accessed an incredible virtual simulation resource. And our students are still right now doing virtual simulation with their clinical professors in groups with virtual simulators online, similar to what we're doing right here chatting. So it's really amazing, the technology and the ways our students can be engaged.
That's great. Kirk, do you want to speak to some of the labs that we have in your programs?
Sure. Our occupational therapy, athletic training, dietetics, and physician assistant programs each have a dedicated lab space. So within athletic training, it serves as a fully functional athletic training facility. Probably better than what equipment actually our athletic training facility has that our student athletes are provided care from. So it's a dedicated space strictly for teaching and research purposes. Our dietetics lab, we have two different dietetics labs. We have a quantity foods lab, which is allows our students to produce mass quantity meals. So every Friday, the students will produce a meal for about 40 to 50 people. These are open to faculty, staff across JMU, and every week the dining room is full. The students prepare a 3-course meal. So students have full say into planning the menu, preparing the meal, serving the meal, and then clean up. Our occupational therapy lab is a fully functional space that is dedicated to our occupational therapy program. So it allows them to practice not only some essential skills such as transfers, but also activities of daily living. The other thing we have is a home environment lab. I call it, if you've ever been to IKEA, it's like living in 150 square feet. It's exactly what it is. It's a space that has a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, a bedroom, bathroom, functioning washer and dryer. So an opportunity for our students to practice all of those activities of daily living, or ADLs, with a client or with patients, or as Kelly said, standardized patients in an environment that's safe, but will not allow them to hurt the patient. And lastly, our PA program, they have 22 different bays that mimic physicians' exam offices. So students have the opportunity to practice laboratory skills or the clinical skills on each other, on their patients, or potentially on a faculty member as well. So again, state-of-the-art facilities that really allow our students to have the opportunity to practice the essential knowledge and skills in a very safe learning environment.
Before we sign off, I wanted to ask Dr. Apple, do you want to speak about some of the facilities that you have in the psychology department?
Sure, thanks.
You're muted. You're still muted. You know what? I think that means that, give it one more try.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm so excited about our research space. I forgot to push. We have lots of amazing research. We do research with infants. We do research with college students, with adults. We have an animal lab that we share with communication sciences and disorders. And it's great experience. When you come in the fall, I'm happy to show it to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists, for being here with us this evening. And thank you, audience, for joining us today. If we were not able to get to your questions during the panel, please leave your questions under the comments section and we will make sure to respond to those. You can also visit the Choices website for more information, and the link will be posted below. So thank you. Choose JMU and go Dukes.